Hello guys, welcome to another video of this channel. So in this video, I'm going to be talking about top small business ideas that you can come up with in South Africa. Now, these ideas are basically suitable for people that are actually looking to start a business in South Africa, but they don't know which business to start to begin with. So as a business consultant, I always deal with a lot of people that have different businesses, right? And I do a lot of research also on the trending topics and trending business ideas, like business ideas that you can actually start and survive in the future. Now, throughout time, like from the early 2000s up to now, the business environment has basically changed, right? Now we've got AI, we've got the internet, and with all those things, new businesses always spring up. And it will continue to be so as time goes on. So as an entrepreneur looking at these kind of opportunities, it is important to come up with a working business model, a business model that will take advantage of these opportunities and also have the prospect to grow into the future. So why do small businesses matter? Now, they matter for a variety of reasons. Now, the first reason is that small businesses, they do create a lot of jobs, right? I'll say a huge portion of the employed people is actually in the private sector. And the biggest players in that part are small businesses. Two, small businesses, they contribute to the overall growth of the country's economy. Hence, the government always find it useful to help them through some programs and institutions such as CEDA, NLC, and other vital institutions as well. And lastly but not least, they drive innovation and also encourage people to be financial independent, which is very good, especially for our society, because it creates more wealth within the society, therefore getting rid of all the errors that are caused by poverty. Now, I've selected these type of businesses based on a certain criteria. Now, the first one is the low startup costs, which means the amount of capital that is required is very low, that a lot of people can actually afford to lay their hands on. And the second reason is the market demand, right? Meaning that the product is basically highly demanded, which is basically very good, especially if a business is to be sustainable and grow in the future. And the third reason is scalability, which means that the business is able to be scaled to a larger operations and things like that, right? You can actually grow this business to be a multinational corporation or something like that. And the fourth reason is future relevance, meaning that the business will still exist maybe a decade from now or 20 years from now, and it will continue to be relevant in the future. This is actually very good, especially if you don't want the business to die, right? Now, why is that important? Now, I can actually give an example of old blockbuster shops, right, where businesses used to sell like video cassettes of movies and things like that. I don't know what to call them, but right now they're irrelevant, right? And nowadays we use streaming services. So we need a business that will change with time. So starting from category number one, these are mobile services. Now, most of these businesses, you will realize that they've been there in the future. They've been here for, I don't know, decades or so, and they're basically some of the businesses that you are fully aware of, and these businesses will continue to exist in the near future. And the very first one under this category is the most popular one that maybe you are very aware of, and that is car wash, right? So in terms of car wash, you can actually open maybe a physical car wash somewhere, go to the local authorities, apply for a stand, and build your car wash. But from my own knowledge and my own research and the information that I got from maybe watching videos on YouTube and other things, I've discovered that you can actually operate a mobile car wash where you go from one place to another or from one customer to another washing their vehicles. And I've seen a couple of videos about other entrepreneurs doing the same thing, right? They convert like a van, like those Mercedes vans, install different things like the tanks and the pressure washers and other things like that, and all the equipment that is actually needed to wash cars, and it works, right? I'll say most parts of Europe they do that, but in our case right here in South Africa, right, you can actually offer to wash cars by just carrying your bucket and maybe other small items like the brushes, the towels, and the dishwashers and things like that. and start your mobile car wash service. Visit customers from place to place, house to house, and offer to wash their cars for a certain amount of money. And this is one of the service that will never go away, right? It will continue to be there. And I'll say, even if you were to start that type of business, the most things that you're likely to buy probably will be things like the vacuum cleaners if you want to clean inside and things like that. But those won't be much, right? You can avoid possibly maybe getting pressure washers and things like that, but maybe vacuums and other things, I think those will be required. So that is actually the very first business that you can actually start and will continue to exist in the future. And the second one is hairdressing, kind of mobile hairdressing. Rather than having to stay in one salon, possibly maybe renting a space somewhere, you can actually offer to fix people's hairs, right? Moving from house to house. And basically that usually serves a lot of people. Sometimes people don't want to go to barber shops at their specific location. I think that will save some time for them. So you can basically buy, basic equipment that you can actually carry around, maybe combs and other, deodorants or and other chemicals that you use maybe in hairs and things like that. So things that you can put maybe in a bag and actually move around from one place to another. Now, the third one is cleaning, right? And cleaning is still one of the most relevant service around here, especially for rich folks, right? People that are rich usually hire maids to do the cleaning and stuff, and you can actually offer that too. Within that category, also something that I also thought is that you can actually offer this service not as a regular cleaning service like home cleaning service, more like cleaning dirty places, especially when people are moving in or in a new home or maybe new office or things like that. That is basically what we did when we moved in a new house, right? We had people that did all the heavy cleaning, right? Because the place was very, very dirty and we paid them handsomely. So I'll say that is one of the most highly demanded type of service. Lastly, but not least in this category is home repairs, right? If you've got some skills in doing like renovations or repairing basic stuff, doors, things like that, I think you can actually offer that service as well because it will continue to be demanded quite a lot. And I could have added other services as well under that category, but I think these will do. Now, the second type of business is a little bit different, right? And I'll say most people will not like to do this. And this involves waste recycling and green business. So under the category, you can actually start a recycling business where you collect maybe rubber bottles, maybe cans, and other types of products that you can actually recycle. And I've seen a lot of people actually doing this business, but though that I discovered is that it doesn't really pay much, but the demand is there though, especially with the whole climate change and all these policies that countries are trying to adopt. So I think this will fit perfectly, especially in the future. So recycling, that is one of the businesses that you can actually do. And while we're still on the same topic, you can actually get into a business where you can actually reuse some of these waste products to produce other goods, which are basically called eco products. And a good example of this is the tire sandals that we wear. Like personally, I've bought some of the tire sandals that some of these guys make, right? They made some amazing sandals out of like tires, right? Like the base will be like a tire, part of the tire, and the top will be like leather. And I think most people know this. So if you get involved in some of these eco products, you're likely to make money out of that. And other perfect examples are the vases that are used from recycled bottles. Like people crush bottles and then they turn them into some amazing vases and things like that. So eco products, I think that is one of the businesses that you can actually get into. And you can also include things like composting and so on. And the third category is digital marketing and content services. And these might include things like social media management, right? We can offer services where you offer to help companies to run their social media. This is because most companies don't spend much time on that, like building their reputation on social media. But it is actually very important, especially for the brand reputation and also introducing new product. Like marketing is a very important part of any business, and I think I've said that several times. So some companies, as I've said, they don't have social media moderators or people that manage their social media posts and like keep the clients engaged, right? Like they're possibly focusing on other types of marketing, like running ads on televisions, radios, banners, billboards, and things like that. So I think if you offer to become a social media manager and get paid from that, that will be awesome. And also charge a little bit less, right? Not over the top. Like it must match the value that you're actually adding to that company. And the second type of business that you can actually start under that category is video editing, right? You can actually offer video editing service, right? And edit the videos of these businesses. Depending on the type of business, right? You can actually maybe make video ads, or possibly maybe if it's a business that is in the entertainment space, you can actually offer to edit their videos, podcasts, or whatever the case might be. Because today we are living in the digital world, right? I think most people often called it the influencer economy, where a lot of marketing is done by the influencers. So nowadays people have YouTube channels and things like that. So they always need somebody to edit their videos. Just like myself, when I'm recording this video, I'll need to edit it at the end of the day. So possibly if let's say I've got money, rather than doing the whole thing myself, I can simply hire somebody to do it for me. So that is one of the things that you can actually do. And the third business under the same category is a branding business. So if you're good at designing, possibly maybe designing banners, maybe signposts or branding vehicles and things like that, you can actually offer that same service too. And I think it is one of the highly demanded service of any branding, especially vehicle branding, right? For new companies that want to, brand their vehicles, there's a market for that. As an example, right, I think in our office we actually did a little bit of branding. We designed the posters that were actually printed by somebody, and also the t-shirts and like a lot of things that the company uses, and the computers and everything was branded. So you can actually create a business around that. And the third business idea under that same category is content creation. Since we've talked about video editing and things like that, content creation can also involve the same thing, right? You can produce maybe video content, or possibly maybe social media banners. That's also content. Or you can actually write, create posts, maybe take pictures and things like that. Any type of content that a business can use to market itself, I think that is one of the things that you can do. And you can also start a YouTube channel. Same thing, right? Start a YouTube channel, post videos. And I mean, there are a lot of YouTubers that make a lot of money, especially on YouTube, right? They get views, then they get paid through ad revenue, sponsored deals, and things like that. So there is also some money in YouTube. I think I also have a small YouTube channel. I think I make something like 50 bucks, so close to 1,000 rands per month, but it's not that much. But though I do kind of receive some advertising revenue for people that want me to do a video for them, maybe reviewing their website and things like that. So I do charge them a few dollars there. But I think that is one of the most, I think, important part of digital marketing, especially content creation. A lot of people, I think they live off that, right? And some have become millionaires, right? The biggest content creator is Mr. Beast, right? And I think it is billions of dollars. So that is one of the businesses that you can actually do. Start content creation and post maybe videos on YouTube, Facebook, or whatever the case might be, TikTok, right? Any platform that is actually relevant for the type of content that you make. The next category is around food and beverage ventures, right? Starting businesses around food. Like, for example, if you have like food trucks, which of course might require a little bit of investment, you can actually convert it into some sort of like a mini store. Or I've seen some people actually buying trailers, but small trailers where they have like they cook some kind of fast food and they sell it. So that is basically maybe one of the businesses that you can actually start, because a food business will never go away. But as long as human beings are alive, people will always eat. So that is one type of business that will remain relevant in the future for, I don't know. And you can also like make some maybe snacks at home. If like, for example, if you know how to make, there's something that they call a quarter or something like that. a piece of bread, maybe some chips and things like that. You can actually produce those things at home. And then some, they call them maybe amaguinya or something like that. So you can actually make those home food snacks. And I think a lot of people do that, right? And if you got some money, you can actually maybe buy some containers, those small shipping containers, then start some, food cafes. There are small food cafes that you can actually run with less or minimal costs. And the next category after that will be the e-commerce and online stores, a type of business, right? Where you can actually create an online store using platforms such as Shopify, right? So you can do drop shipping. I think that is what they call it. So you can create like a store, like a website there, list all the products, possibly things that maybe you can pick on platforms such as AliExpress, and then you list them on your Shopify store and then market that website. Now, the good thing about dropshipping is that you don't have to own a physical store, but what you're simply doing there is simply doing affiliate marketing. I think that is the best thing that I can actually say it. Right. So you create a store, you don't own any of those products. So what you're simply doing is simply rerouting. So if somebody purchases that product from your site, you purchase that same product on AliExpress, and rather than sending it to your address, you send it to your customer's address. So that is how basically drop shipping works. So you basically take the difference. So your role in this case is basically to reroute those transactions and things like that. So you don't have to own anything, you simply have to present something. So the next category revolves under education and basically tutoring online, right? You can start teaching online and then make some money from that. But this one requires you to have some skills though, right? If you have skills maybe in things like mathematics, possibly maybe other skills like graphic design and things like that, you can actually create courses and then sell those courses online, basically teach people in return for a fee. Or if you know how to teach mathematics, you can actually set maybe your online teaching school, right? And Google has some of these tools like the Google Classroom, right? You can actually use those tools to set up your class online and start teaching in return for some money. And if you're a business consultant like myself or a consultant of any kind, you can actually do maybe coaching, business coaching or other type of coaching, right? Online, right? You can do that online. You talk with people, help them with their problems, and in return for that, you get paid. That's another type of business that you can actually do. And the next category involves agriculture and urban farming. And I think this is one of the industries that a lot of people love to do, right? Agriculture, doing things like poultry farming, right? Raising chickens and then sell them. Another thing, growing vegetables, maybe tomatoes, spinaches, and other type of vegetables, and basically sell them. But the most interesting business that I've seen out of the same category is the one about herbs. Like I've seen a lot of businesses kind of like selling like different types of herbs, right? Maybe for curing kind of different kinds of sicknesses. But though I wouldn't recommend that myself because I don't trust herbs, but I rather trust something that is basically clinically approved and that is recommended by doctors rather than just taking certain herbs that I don't know, what they will do in my body, especially in this future. So it's kind of really a bit risky. But actually, if you do it the right way, and I don't think that will be a problem, right? You can get recommendations and from maybe doctors or people that have actually tested the herb. I think that would be a great thing. But at the end of the day, doctors do recommend a certain maybe natural ingredients that you have to take, possibly maybe to deal with certain things, right? So that's it. Now, the next category is about property rentals. This will require you to have some sort of a house or maybe a place where you live, things like that, right? For example, if you have like a room, maybe at your home, you can actually rent that room to somebody, make some extra cash, right? And I think that's what people do nowadays, right? They buy like rooms, and rather than utilizing the whole place, they simply rent a few rooms to other people to use. And I've seen this especially on towns that have universities, right? Like for example, if there's a university maybe near their house, that is a good opportunity because students most times they'll be looking for accommodation, and it becomes a little bit easier to rent those rooms to those students. Now, the last category involves reselling like old things, but all things that are still in good condition, right? Like reselling old clothes. And I think I've seen other countries doing that same thing. Like they sell some old second-hand clothes or maybe reselling old or second-hand furniture, or buy maybe second-hand furniture at low prices and basically resell it. Right. Well, I think in our house right here, we've got another shop that basically does that. They buy old furniture in auctions and then simply resell them to customers, like regular customers. So that is actually another type of business that you can actually do, reselling old things, second-hand things that are basically in good condition to, the final consumers. And rather than just reselling on the physical location, maybe of your business, right, you can actually resell these things online, right? Like there are basically different types of online platforms that provide such services. Like for example, Gumtree is one of them, right? You go there, you find a lot of second-hand things that you can actually buy. Maybe that thing is phones, old phones that people don't use, they simply resell it. Cash Crusaders is one of the services that also offer the same service. So you can actually do that, possibly maybe in your own locations around there, maybe online, whatever place that suits you. So there you go, guys. Those are some of the business ideas that you can actually start in South Africa in 2026 and going on forward. But so that's all about this video. And again, thank you for watching this video. And until then, see you on the next video.